Welcome to the Intentional Success Podcast, where we unpack the top strategies, explore business trends, and drill down into best practices to help your live events production business grow and scale on purpose. I'm your host, Tom Stimson. In today's podcast, I'm going to take you through an easy marketing self-assessment and teach you how to do bare bones marketing. Hey, welcome to today's podcast. We're going to talk about the bare minimum you need to do in marketing. And why do I say bare minimum? Because I know most of you just loathe marketing, and I keep talking about it, but you need to hear about it one more time. So let's dive right in here. What are the three marketing best practices that every AV company needs now, right? If you're in live event production, you need these three best practices. You need to repeat them. You need to say them over and over again. Number one is you are in the marketing business. Ow, I know that hurts, doesn't it? Look, you are in the marketing business, just like you're in the shipping business. You ship gear all over the country, sometimes all over the world. You take responsibility for it. It's a core competency that you have to have. You have to know how to get it done. You have to know how to do it. You have to know how to hire other people to do it. I mean, we know that shipping is mission critical to what we do. We need to understand that so is marketing, right? Marketing solves so many problems that are not apparent to you until it's really, really expensive to fix them. So you are in the marketing business. Keep saying that over and over again. It is a core competency. You need to know how to do it, right? Mantra number two, marketing works for you 24/7. It's working when you're sleeping. It is always out there to reach out to people, to start networking conversations, to share information, offer solutions, help people engage with you, help people find you. It does this all the time. Now, the downside of marketing working 24/7 is that if you put the wrong message out there, it drones on forever. Having a website that has the wrong picture, the wrong phrase, the wrong message amplifies the wrong thing, right? So we've got to get our marketing message right. We've got to pay attention to those things. So if it's a core competency and it's working for you, even when you're not there, you're going to have to trust it to do the right thing, which means you're going to, like your employees, you have to put some effort into training and honing it, getting the right message out there, making sure they understand how to talk to your customers. What do we do in this situation? How to engage, what the next step is. All of those things you expect your humans to do, you have to train your marketing to do, right? And the third thing is very much like your employees. It requires an investment. Marketing is you get what you pay for. We know what happens when you're shipping something and you go on the cheap and you hire the company that's promising they can do it for less, or the on-time delivery system that, didn't deliver on time. You get what you pay for, right? So put money into marketing, but you need to get a return on that money. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more how to do that later on here in the podcast. So now that we've got our three mantras, you're in the marketing business, it's going to work for you 24/7, and it requires an investment. Okay. Now, what's the first step? Well, let's do a quick marketing assessment, right? Let's diagnose where you're at to see where effort may pay off. There's a million jillion things you can do in marketing. If you reach out to a marketing firm and say, I need help with marketing, you're going to hear about them, but they're not going to be in context of your business. They need to walk you through. They need to do strategy with you and diagnostics with you to understand where you're at, understand your customer. There's a whole lot of work they have to do. Now, I know a lot about you already, right? I live in your space. We're in the same room together all the time. So I can skip a few of those steps and you can educate your marketing firm much more quickly if you know what questions to ask. Now, quick diagnostic. We're going to take a look at your sales funnel, right? Or your marketing funnel. Let's face it, the funnel of business coming into your business. Some of it is marketing, some of it is sales. Marketing becomes sales. That's why we call it the sales marketing funnel. So let's take a look at your funnel. Your funnel list has at the very top of it a mailing list. Well, we have a lot of people on our mailing list, but they're not really customers. I don't care. All right. Stop telling me who your mailing list isn't. The people you want to talk to are on your mailing list. There are other people who are happy to hear from you. Just get over it. It's emails, not a big deal, right? So let's take a look at your mailing list. Now, if you don't have a consolidated mailing list, that's a problem. If your mailing list is, well, Bob has a lot of stuff in his Outlook, but Mary uses Gmail, and none of this stuff is in the right place. Well, there's our first project, right? Our first diagnostic is we don't have a mailing list. So if you've been in business for 10 years and you don't have 3,000 or 5,000 email addresses to mail to, you haven't been doing anything. So start collecting them. So what? You have 500. It's a place to start. Okay, 500 will become 1,500, and nothing flat if you put some effort into this. So look at your mailing list. How well curated and how large it is tells us a little bit about where you are and what we need to work on. Now, in that mailing list, how many leads do you have? Oh, Tom, we don't use a CRM. That was not my question, right? Don't tell me about what you can't do or what you don't have. Anybody that tells you that you need a CRM to do sales and marketing is lazy, right? That's a tool for people who already know what they're doing. It is not a tool to teach people how to do sales and marketing, right? That's an advanced tool. It's like me going out and buying a $3,000 table saw when all I have is a handsaw right now, right? So how many leads do you have? In other words, are these people that you think should do business with you? That's a lead. How many prospects? Leads may not know who you are. You may not be in a conversation with them, but prospects have at least identified themselves as somebody who does events and that they know who you are. Not just you know who they are, they have to know who you are. That's the difference between a lead and a prospect. An opportunity is a prospect who actually brings something to the table to talk about. In other words, here's an event or a project or an idea that I want to develop. That's an opportunity. Okay. A working quote is something that an opportunity might generate, because not all opportunities become quotes, right? So how many quotes do you have? So as we're going through all of this steps of your sales funnel, we're getting a better idea of where you're healthy and where you're weak, right? So how many working quotes do you have? And then how much sold work do you have? And that's the final measurement. How far out into the future? How many jobs? If I measure sold work between now and the end of the year, that's a number that I need to build on. If I add working quotes to that number, hey, it's a better number, yay, but not all your working quotes are going to become sold work, right? And then how many opportunities am I talking about between now and the end of the year? So if I look in terms of probability, a sold piece of work, let's give it a probability of 100%. A working quote, if you've got an 80% close rate, let's give it 80% across all of those quotes. I realize some quotes are going to be higher and lower, right? Opportunities. How many opportunities become working quotes in the next 6 months? Not very many. So we can put a little bit of value on your opportunities, but now I just created a number for the next 6 months on the value of your sales funnel. Is it adequate? Is it funnel shaped? Or is it a big cylinder? Many times when we do this exercise with my clients, we go through and find out they have a very small mailing list because they've never curated anything. They can identify within that mailing list some leads, which basically equals their prospects, which basically equals the number of quotes that they expect to be working or opportunities they expect to process. And they hope that all turns into work. And so their funnel is really a cylinder, right? It may have a little bit of shape to it, a little bit of angle on the sides, but the fact is the top and the bottom are almost the same size. And while your funnel shouldn't be a perfect funnel, it's not an inverted pyramid, but it might be. There should be a lot more leads than prospects. And you should have a lot more prospects than opportunities. And you should have a lot more opportunities than working quotes. Okay? Your close rate is a byproduct of how good your filtering is. If all of your working quotes are to well-qualified, ideal prospects, then your close rate is going to be pretty good. If your working quotes are to non-ideal people or poorly filtered or you got a bunch of price shoppers mixed in there with value buyers, then you're not necessarily going to have the same sold work or close rate as you should. So that's going to affect the shape of your funnel, right? Now, you've done the diagnostic. That's really all it takes. Where are you weak? Look at the shape of your funnel. If your funnel isn't following the right lines, that's probably where we need to put a little bit of effort into. For instance, it's very common that our mailing list and our leads are the same, which means we have no evangelists on our mailing list, and we need to do something about that. We need to go wider on our mailing list. So that would be a diagnostic that tells us we need to gather more emails, which is a function of marketing. After you finish beating them out of all the salespeople and getting it off of all of their devices, our next step is to go out into the world and try and get those email addresses, which is going to be vital to your process. Now, we've done the diagnostic. What are the prescriptions? Okay. Part of your prescription is going to be digital marketing. The things that are top of your funnel, the email, the mailing list, the leads, and the prospects are really driven or built through the digital marketing. So it'll grow your mailing list, it'll grow your leads, and it will help convert leads to prospects. So business development is going to take that lead, convert it into a prospect, and then they're going to help take prospects and convert them into opportunities. But this is also where sales comes in. And sales can help with a prospect and turn it into an opportunity. And then they're going to take that opportunity and move it forward into a quote. So digital marketing, business development basically work 70% of your funnel. And then business development starts to pass things off to sales, and sales takes care of that last third of your funnel. So our prescription tells us where we need to put effort, right? Do I need to work on my digital marketing? Do I need to add business development? Do I need to improve my business development and sales process? It will all pay off. Now, many of you will quickly gravitate towards, well, I need to improve my sales first. That may well be true, but developing marketing is a long lead process. We can get quick results out of sales with some training, some skill upgrades, some process improvements, but that's only going to be effective on a small portion of the opportunities that come your way. We've got to start developing new opportunities, and we can't just flip a switch and turn that on. Marketing will take some time to do its work to trickle these things down your funnel. So here's the bare minimum that I would recommend that you do. And I'm raising what I consider to be the bare minimum for marketing. You've heard me talk about here's the minimum you need to do in the past. I'm upping it because now in a model of scalability, marketing is a core competency. You need team for marketing. You need to outsource everything that your team can't cover, and you need to do it all of the time. The selling process is 24/7. It is nonstop, and we're always working on the future. Marketing is out there. It's very inexpensively working for you 24/7 and is always looking into the future, trying to develop new opportunities and leads, right? So we have to put our effort into that. That is now the bare minimum. So your website, let's start there because this is a fundamental piece of marketing. Your website must reflect your ideal customer and employ effective calls to action that feed into your marketing funnel. Your website has to work for you. It is not just a mailing. It's not just to tell people where your address is or show pictures of your pretty equipment. If it's not collecting email addresses for qualified leads, then you are wasting your time. Just put up a static page and say, here's how you contact us, and put an email link, right? It's got to reflect your ideal customer, because if it reflects your non-ideal customers, you're going to attract the wrong leads. It's pretty simple, right? Who's your ideal customer? That's a great question to ask, and that's something you need to work on, right? And I've done lots of podcasts, or I've done lots of articles about that. I'll do a podcast about that shortly. And I've certainly done a lot of webinars about that. So think about who your ideal customer is and make sure that they see themselves on your website. Now, when I'm talking about these bare minimums, and I have a couple more here, this is also the prescription that you take to your marketing firm or your prospective marketing firm to say, here's what I'm looking for. So I need a website that works. Here's what I do. Here's what I mean by my website works. Next thing, you have to do some sort of digital marketing. You got to do some sort of electronic outreach and go, oh, we got to spam people. Come on, get over it. It's 2023, right? Call it a newsletter, call it an industry briefing. There's also social media, but send something helpful to your email list. Social media is not your email list. You have no control over social media platforms. They can be bought by billionaires and become useless in just a matter of hours, right? You've got to get people off of social media and onto your website where you can do some good work, okay? On that website, quit trying to look like a great supplier, right? Start trying to look like a professional solution. Get the right message out there, okay? People who are looking for suppliers are price shoppers. You're not looking for price shoppers. Nobody ever said, Tom, help us find more price shoppers, because frankly, it's really easy to find price shoppers. Now, third thing you need to do, okay? Every part of your marketing and sales funnel needs continuous effort, right? So the top of the funnel is for leads and other people who might refer you. Let's don't ignore your suppliers and partners and Aunt Agnes and all the other people who might be on your mailing list. This is a good thing, okay? Let that happen. Leads become prospects by engaging with you in some fashion that makes it clear they're a potential buyer. If your website can help them do that, that takes a huge strain off of business development and sales because they don't have to filter those leads. Your website will filter those leads. Okay, we can give them more information and give them an opportunity to engage. So leads become prospects by engaging with you in some fashion that makes it clear that they are a potential buyer. Check. We put a keyword on them. Prospect. Prospects become opportunities when they engage with you about a future project. Opportunities become proposals, which become sales, and you want to get more sales, get more leads. So the bare minimum is we work at the top of our funnel. If our website is set up correctly and we are doing digital marketing, marketing can move the top of your funnel down to the middle of your funnel where business development or sales can pick it up. Oh, but we don't have anybody who knows how to do that. No kidding. Right. That's why I'm talking about this. You need to hire someone who knows how to do this, or you need to outsource this. And I just gave you the shopping list. Here's what I need you guys to do. How can you do this for me? What is the process for getting us there? Remember, marketing is a core business skill. I mean, you wouldn't go out and buy 1,000 LED tiles and not have an employee or a contractor who was an expert on LED to help you along the way. No, of course you wouldn't. Why would you attempt something as mission critical as marketing? Right? Companies without marketing are going to get buried. Our society is not going to get less digital. Relationship selling is not going to carry you through the next 20 years. Okay? We're already seeing it happen. And as this great post-pandemic surge in demand starts to subside and normalize, okay, we're seeing sales funnels dry up. Well, there's plenty of work out there. Who are they hiring? Well, they're no longer hiring companies that are not well marketed because they can go straight to the companies that seem to be a better fit. Right? There's only going to be so much business. Demand is always going to be demand. Okay? They're going to go to the part of the supply chain that seems to serve them best. Right? So many of you telling me, yeah, we were so busy last year and then it's dried up. And I say, well, are you doing any marketing or biz dev? I'll go, well, no, we were too busy. Okay. So start with the bare minimum, then work your way up to effective marketing. There's your roadmap. Thanks for listening. If you want to find out more about today's episode, go to trstimson.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes, related links, and tons of other valuable resources. If you haven't already subscribed to the Intentional Success Podcast, please do so, and I'd greatly appreciate if you would rate and review the show. Also, if you think you might be a good fit to work together or want more information about the Stimson Group, I'd love to hear from you. Visit trstimson.com for more information.